Welcome back to another Sunday Stock Talk. We're going to be going over the overall market, Bitcoin, as well as a few stocks that I will be looking at for tomorrow morning. Hope you guys enjoy. Smash that like button if you do. So, QQQ is at $481.72. It has been consolidating for quite some time since I'd say around March 10th. And as it should with this huge sell-off it's had recently from $540 all the way down to 465, had a 14% sell-off in I think it was about 2 weeks. It was like 14 days, about 18 days. Okay, so after that huge sell-off of 14%, it's actually just been consolidating in this area for the last I'd say week or two, another 10 days. If we get a breakout above 483, 484, 485, then this could begin to rally back up to that $500 mark, where where the 200-day moving average is at currently, which will be another test. If it can get past that 500 moving average, then it could push up, of course, to 520, 540, back up to those previous levels it was trading at before. Now, it could also get rejected like it has recently, and that's what we're talking about today. If it gets rejected at 484 and 484 again, it's done this, this was a significant drop recently at this level. 484 dropped all the way down to 465 in one single day. Tried to push up again, dropped again all the way down to 472. Pumped up and tried again, dropped all the way down to 473. So this can potentially push up to 484, break, and actually push back down. I'll show you what that looks like. It can continue to push up, touch this little line, and then actually come back down, or even come down lower. Okay, now that's one way to look at it. It could also break above and get a nice little retest. If it goes up, maybe it breaks above this level, gets a retest, and then pushes up higher. Okay, only time will tell tomorrow. I'm excited to trade in the morning. As far as overall direction goes, that will be determined in the morning. But so far, looking really good, especially in this consolidation area. If I zoom into the 30-minute time frame, you can see 465 up to 480, down to 465 again, back up to 485. Came down to 472, went all the way back up to 484, came back down to 472, and bounced right off that level back up to 481. So over after hours says it's at 481. Over after hours tradings will begin at 8 p.m. tonight. So in about 4 more hours for myself. We'll be able to see the direction of the overall market, at least in this little area while it trades. And then we'll be trading in the morning, either TQQQ, if this begins to show progress up, and this maintains that above this moving average like this very nicely, and it can push higher, then we can see highs of, even $63, $64 tomorrow on TQQQ, possibly even higher. Okay, but we want to be aware that TQQQ does have some resistance right around this level. I'd actually say it's kind of already at that resistance pretty much. So if we get a breakout tomorrow, that'd be great, as it can push up higher for TQQQ. Now, if the overall market gets rejected, then SQQQ would be in a nice prime spot to load up if the market begins to sell off. If the market does sell off, then I would invest in SQQQ, as this has the potential to go up as well from the support level, $36, $35, $36, even $37, up to highs of even 38 to 40. 38 would be about 3.5%. $40 would be about 8% if the market sells off. Okay, so I want you guys to be aware of that. Either way, there are ways to make money if the market goes up or down. So moving on, let's go ahead and go to the 4-hour time frame. We're going to look at the overall market for Tesla. Tesla is super oversold again in that consolidation period. A lot of this will be determined by the overall market tomorrow as well, whether it goes up or down. AMD looking very nice, pushing up from $93, finally above that moving average and pushing up. We'll see if this can push up higher, currently at 106 and above that moving average. Will it begin to sell off tomorrow, or will this continue to ride and we'll have that 3 stages of reversal finally beginning to play out? Nvidia also on the 4-hour chart below the moving averages, bounced off of $102, now currently up to 117. Okay, the potential could go up to 124 for a retest, could also sell off back to 110-ish. Google finding some sort of support here at 164-ish, as low as 156, but if this begins to push up, as it looks like it's curling up over, it can get up to highs of 173 before retesting that moving average. Microsoft below its previous support level, now acting as a resistance. This can push up above. This will begin to make newer highs, or it will get rejected. Same with Meta, selling off quite some time at that $740 range, all the way down to lows of $574. Now beginning to show some sign of a consolidation period and possible reversal back up to new highs again. Amazon, same thing, right? The selling pressure has subsided substantially from 242 levels all the way down to 190, 189, and now consolidating within a one kind of 90-ish range, 191, 192 range, and about 198, about 200. So will this actually break out of this consolidation area, or will it get rejected and begin to just continue to consolidate? Or are we setting up for potentially a nice 3 stages of reversal where we have that sell-off period, then we have the consolidation period, and then we have that confirmation period? We want to be in the confirmation period area. We want to start buying in these levels as these companies begin to reverse up. Now again, any of these companies can begin to sell off even more. They don't have to bounce off of any of these lines. Trading is risky, and make sure you guys are doing your own due diligence before taking any trades. Know when to cut your losses and manage your risk, as well as when to take profits. Apple also finding a lot of consolidation around 208 and 215, now up to 217. We'll see if this gets rejected. After hours not looking so good. It's cool you can see after hours with Apple, as well as overnight hours here pretty soon, but a little bit lower. Now VIX overall index on the VIX, if you look at the 4-hour, when there is a lot of greed, this will go up, saying that there is a lot of volatility, if I'm not mistaken, and when there is fear, there is less volatility because there's less people trading as much. So not as much volatility maybe going into at least this past Friday and maybe even Monday compared to these last few weeks where there has been a lot of volatility. And you can see that with QQQ here, right? You can see even on a 4-hour time frame how much volatility there really has been on these days. I mean, there's these huge moves from, even here when it sold off, that was a almost 4% sell-off of the NASDAQ in a single day, with a nice rally the following day up 3% and then down another 3%. So overall just extremely volatile. Now not, there's still a lot of volatility, but not as much as what it's looking at. So another few companies I wanted to take a look at. We'll get into Bitcoin real quick, as Bitcoin can show the overall direction of the market, as it is a 24/7 market, and it somewhat tracks along with NASDAQ a little bit now. So looks like it did break that previous resistance, so maybe we could see NASDAQ push up a little bit. I'd love to see if Bitcoin can get above this moving average of around 87,000. If it can and begins to push up, then hey, we will actually begin to see higher highs on this. But right now, continues to get rejected on that level. It's trying to maintain above that moving average here on the daily time frame, but just still not finding any really good sign of support other than that moving average at the moment. So right now, trading within that $85,000 range. Last but not least, I want to go over a couple of these companies as they look like they have some areas of setting up. I wanted to bring up TEM or Tempest AI. Now, this is one of those companies that Nancy Pelosi traded or is trading. Don't know specifically, but her name has been involved with this company. Now, it does have a support of around $32, and as you can see, it's been almost within this wedge. It kind of got out of this little ascending, somewhat horizontal pattern. But what I did notice is it's actually starting to find some support around $41 to $50, and it's consolidating. This does begin to rally. We can see it go from 52 to 59 to 60 to 70, even back up to $90 potentially if it gets enough movement and enough hype. So Tempest AI is one of those companies to take a look at now if you're looking at this video within the next week or so. Celsius looking good. We called this out a while back. We've been watching it for a while. From those lows of 21 to highs of 36, we completely missed that one, but we did call it out. Came all the way back down to this moving average at $25, and a lot of investors thought that Celsius was a good investment at $25, and so it started taking off again. Now it's up to $32.93, almost $33. Very nice setup for 3 stages of reversal, waiting for this to peak, sell off to those consolidation areas, load up zone right in that area. You can even basically draw another line here. At any point within this area would have been a nice load up period from 25 to 26.50, just buying every day, and then waiting for that swing trade to play out and holding. Now you would already be up from even 26.50 if you got in late to where it is now at 33. You'd be up 23% on your investment, and this thing can continue to keep going up as well, but we want to be careful for the pullback. If there is a pullback, we don't want to lose money either. Make sure we know when to lock in profits. Cinex is another company that's been trading horizontally. This is Century Aluminum, and of course there are tariffs on aluminum, which had it spike up to 25 and then come all the way back down to 16. Now it's been trading within like $17 and $20 range, but if we can time this perfectly, as you can see here, buying at 17 when it does hit 17 and selling up in this $20 area, that would be a 22% profit. If you were lucky enough to hold it up to almost $23, that'd be a 34% profit, but we're not always as lucky, and we're not a perfect trader. Again, hitting up that $17 mark here, selling it at 21, that's another 20% profit, and doing it again just recently on March 11th, buying at 17, selling at 20.90 for another 22% profit. So very cool to be able to showcase this horizontal pattern play out, and we're going to stay up to date on it. So we're going to set our alerts for when this does go back down to these $17 levels again, create an alert below 17.30. When it does sound off, we can buy some at this level, and when it goes up to this level, then we can sell. Palantir Technologies, very nice as well, peaking from 60, or finding that horizontal area of 63 to $85, and then peaking at 125, a huge investment, and then selling off back down to $70. Already up from $70 to $91. That's a beautiful 26, if not a little bit more, of a investment profit on your investment. Okay, $70 to $91, a 30% profit, and this thing can continue to push up. It can go up to 100 to 125, creating a nice potential profit of even another 40%. Now I want you guys to be aware it is below this moving average, so it can very easily get rejected and begin to sell off, okay, losing anywhere from 10 plus 20%. All right, so Palantir is definitely on the radar for this week. SoFi as well, it's on the radar, bouncing off of that $10 support, already up to $12.88. I'd love to see this push back up to that $18, potentially $17, $18 for a nice 30 to 45% profit on SoFi. But again, remember this can get rejected at that $13 or $14 level and come back down to those lows of $10 for a 24% loss. So be very careful with SoFi. Be careful with all of these companies. SMCI, again, finding some support at $33, previous ranges of interest and area of support and resistance, pushed all the way up from lows of 25 to highs of 66 and then sold off to $33. This can potentially see some more potential profits for SMCI from 44 up to 66 potentially. A nice 50% profit if it gets back up to those highs. Be aware though, it's below this moving average. It has not been able to break the moving average, so it also has potential to sell off a good 14 to 20%. LUNR is another company we've been tracking for quite some time. Space lunar exploration missions and stuff like that to the moon, and I believe Mars as well. Down right now, $7 per share. Previous support levels before pushed all the way up to $25 and has sold all the way off since. This may be an area of loading up $7 a share, $6 a share for a nice reversal back up to those highs. Even if it got up to $10, that's a 64% profit. And if it got up to $25, that's a 274% profit. Not saying it has to, but definitely very possible. XPEV, again, a very solid company. It's a Chinese car company who wants to make flying vehicles accessible to everyone by 2026. Some high expectations for this company, but anyways, nonetheless, staying above that moving average for quite some time now, still above the moving average, and potentially finding a bounce. It did bounce off of that moving average, pushing up. Will it stay bullish and begin to push up to that $27 level again? Nice 30% profit, or will this actually begin to sell off and break this moving average? I'm excited to see what happens, and subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated with all of these as we do go over these exact same companies every single week. SoundHound, back to previous resistance support levels at about $8.50, now trading at $9.82. Had highs of $25, so kind of the same setup as SoFi here, or maybe even it was something else, but SoundHound nonetheless up 987, $10. If it pushes up to even 15, that's a 53% profit. Up to $25, that's 150% profit. So a lot of companies definitely to pay attention to this week. Hope you guys enjoyed this segment of the Sunday Stock Talk. Let me know below what companies you are looking at trading tomorrow morning, and maybe what companies you would like me to review and maybe add to our stock list for 2025 for our next Sunday Stock Talk. Remember, I do trade live every morning at market open. I hope to see you guys there. Whatever time the market opens in your area, you can guarantee that we'll be live at that time. Subscribe, smash the notification bell, and we'll see you all in tomorrow morning's live day trading session. Thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.